Hello everyone, we're coming to you tonight with Menopause Part 2. This is the second part, and it would be better, I think, if you were to see Part 1 first and then see Part 2. Part 1 is just about 6 to 7 minutes, and it just is a little bit of a catch-up on what menopause is, why we get it, etc., etc. It'll just be a little bit of useful guide for you. And going on to Part 2 now, we are going to discuss HRT, different forms of HRT, who can and cannot take HRT, etc., etc. So hormone replacement therapy is when we're trying to replace the hormones by external hormones. So the body was producing estrogen and progesterone until the age of the menopause. This depends on where you are in the world, as I have previously said. So until and unless you've gone through the menopause, your body is producing all the hormones that are needed. Once you're in menopause, estrogen and progesterone levels are falling, and you need to have a supply from outside to try and make up for the fact that there are, very low levels of hormones or no hormones in the body at that point. When I say no hormones, I mean estrogen and progesterone. I do not mean any other hormone in that context. So the idea of giving hormone replacement therapy is to put in tiny amounts of the hormone in the body, just enough to stop the symptoms from coming forward, and to help you cope with your life, with your work, to get enough sleep, and to just carry on doing what you like doing. HRT has been here for a long time, but it was covered and it was very controversial. It is only recently that we have found out that HRT is very beneficial, and we are quite liberal in handing out HRT. When I say liberal, I mean we obviously need to do all the checks, we need to ask you all the questions, we need to go through the contraindications. We will still do all that, but we do offer HRT now far more readily than we did at least 5 years ago, or even 3 years ago for that matter. Coming to the HRT now, ladies who have had their uterus removed, a hysterectomy, they do not need progesterone, they can have only estrogen. But ladies who have not had their uterus removed, if they have had not had a hysterectomy or any other operation removing the uterus, then they will need an estrogen and a progesterone. This is because the estrogen part can have a harmful effect on the wall of the uterus. The progesterone is there to protect the wall of the uterus from the harmful effects of the estrogen. So let me get this straight again. So if you don't have a uterus, you get only estrogen. If you do have a uterus, you get estrogen and progesterone. Now the estrogen and the progesterone can be given in many different forms. You can have gels, you can have foam, you can have tablets, you can have patches, you can have a progesterone coil, you can have many different methods of delivery. As to what exactly, which method of delivery is right for you, depends on what your circumstances in life are, what your age is, and also whether you have a uterus or not, as we have already discussed. So the different modes of delivery of HRT are very important, as they serve a really varied purpose. So people who find it difficult taking tablets, who have difficulties with their digestive systems, people who have liver problems, they are better off on the patch, because the patch bypasses the whole digestive system and the liver. When you put on a patch, the hormones in the patch will hit the bloodstream straight away, thereby bypassing any problems in the other systems. And there are various other forms of HRT, each having their own place in the delivery system. Say for example, if you have a dry vagina, or you have trouble with an itchy and dry vagina, then we will usually start off with a lubricant. If the lubricant doesn't work, we will then give you an estrogen gel. So for this, we will not suggest that you take tablets or patches or anything. We will just treat it locally, and we will put the estrogen where it's needed. If this works, this is the safest way to have the HRT, because we are putting it exactly where it's needed. We're not exposing the whole body to it, and that is how it should be. We should give you the safest mode and the safest delivery system possible. HRT, with years of research, has also been found to have lots of good effects. So, for example, the estrogen part of the HRT has beneficial effects on the cardiovascular system, beneficial effects on the bones, and it has beneficial effect on mood and sleep, etc. So we have come a long way from where we thought that all HRT is bad and that it gives rise to breast cancer, etc., etc. We are now aware that we need to ask patients whether they have had breast cancer or if there is any family history of breast cancer before we prescribe HRT. This, if it happens, then they need to be referred to the specialists for that discussion, and then they can have HRT if the specialists deem it safe and appropriate. However, in primary care, we are quite happy to deal with HRT for our patients, provided they satisfy the criteria, they're able to answer the queries, and they agree with the doctor's management. If you have any questions, any queries about what we have discussed, please post your comments, queries, or suggestions in the box. I do understand that this is a huge topic and is probably not enough time being allocated. Even 2 videos are not enough for this topic. So I'm quite conscious that there might be other issues that you might need me to comment on. So please, if you want me to do any other videos on any other topics related to HRT or not related, please put your comments in the box down below. Thank you for watching and have a lovely evening.